are now listening to the MCR Sports Show. That's right, time for some action. Getting ready for the Super Bowl.
The special Super Bowl edition.
All right, so it is to 2012, our Super Bowl special. So first, we can go ahead and talk about what you guys are going to do for the Super Bowl, what kind of food you're going to have. So what are you going to do, Abel?
Me, I'm taking I feel like hitting a road trip. There's a lot of local parties going on, Super Bowl parties.
Yeah.
Me, I'm just riding out to Tahoe and gamble while I'm out there on the game.
Perfect. Not
so
like drinks and gambling.
Yeah, drinks and buffet food. So I'll be eating healthy all weekend.
All right. So I'm just going to be having a little something here at the house. Probably going to watch it in 3D for the first time. Kick some chili.
Throw that in there.
Yeah, I got to throw that jab in there.
Ooh, I got a 3D TV. Look at me.
Don't hate. All right. Nothing too serious. A couple drinks, a couple friends, 3D TV, and then yeah. All right. So we're actually going to break down the Super Bowl here. We're going to break it down by position. You want to do that?
Where do you want to start? Let's see. Do you want to start at defensive line for both teams?
Yeah, let's start at the D-line. Now, the D-line for the Patriots, there's one standout player. And also, let me go ahead and say this. We are doing a simulcast on Twitch TV or Justin TV. We are simulating the Super Bowl on Madden while we're doing our radio show, so you guys can check that out. It's Justin TV or Twitch TV /MancaveGaming. You guys can check it out there and view the Super Bowl while we talk about it. So we can break down the D-line. There's only one person that really sticks out to me, and of course you know who I'm going to say there, Will Fork. Does anyone else stick out to you besides the rookie, Love? I mean, that's about it.
Sean a little bit, but no, Will Fork is the anchor for that defensive line, and he plays nose tackle, so he's right in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Every play goes how he goes.
And recently he's just been tearing it up. I mean, no one could block him. He's getting after the quarterback and he's stopping the run. He's just there. He's a
nitrous. He's just
exactly.
People up.
Now you guys know about the New York Giants defensive line. You have Justin Tuck. You have Canty.
Jason
Pierre-Paul. You have Osa Numenora. That's a mouthful of name right there. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on, and each one of those players can start for basically a defensive end on any team. So they start four interior guys, essentially they're defensive ends, but they still get after the quarterback because how athletic they are. And when you match them up against the guard, they're just too quick, I think, for you to stop them all game.
Well, see, but we're looking at two different types of lines here because the Giants are more pass rushing, the Patriots are more run stopping. So it actually works to each's advantage because, I mean, honestly, the Giants, you could run against them. The 49ers, for whatever reason, chose not to run against them in the NFC Championship game, but they were averaging 5.4 yards a run.
When I looked at the numbers, Gore still had 74, 84 yards. I mean, they still ran on them, but they went away from it in the fourth quarter and overtime. Right. They just went away from it. The
key for the Patriots is that if they're going to try to run, is they're going to have to do it on first down. They're going to have to shorten it up because if they're on a second or third and long, that pass rush is going to go crazy on Brady.
Yeah. They're just going to have to run at Tuck. They're going to have to run at OC. They're going to have to run at those, the corners basically to stop the pass rush. And if Gronk isn't 100%, he can't get in their chip block, I think it's going to be a long day for Brady.
He'll be all right. Gronk will show up. I mean, he'll be so drugged up it won't matter. He could have a broken ankle. He's going to be playing on it.
He is the biggest meathead. But I broke it down a little bit to give you guys an idea. Since it is a Super Bowl, we're going to break it down further than we normally do. A lot of you stat heads are going to be happy about this. So versus Atlanta, the New York Giants, they had 2 sacks. They hit the quarterback 7 times. Versus Green Bay, 4 sacks, 5 QB hits. And only 1 sack was from the linebacker. So they get after you without rushing or without sending in a blitz with the linebacker. Just the 4 guys up the middle of the front 4 will get to the quarterback, which is huge. Versus the 49ers, 3 sacks, 6 hits on the QB. A lot of that was late game stuff, it seems like, too. And also, the tackles for losses they average 5 for each one of those games. That's huge. 5.
Pretty much. If anybody falls behind the Giants and they got to pass, then they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, big time. All right, so now let's take a look at what the Patriots did. Now, a lot of people underestimate the Patriots defense. They say it's terrible. Actually, the last couple of games, it's been pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. 5 sacks versus... Now, do we really want to count this Denver game?
Yeah, see, that's what I was about to say. All those stats are skewed because you got the Denver game in there, That's...
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to inflate everything. I mean, but it's still valid. It happened. It's an NFL team.
Yeah, you play what's on the schedule, right? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
But you played a college, option running team in the playoffs.
So with that in mind, 5 sacks, 8 QB hits. Of course, you're going to get hits on Tebow. He's a running quarterback. He's a running back who can throw the ball. That's basically what he is. Versus Baltimore. Now, here's a stat that had me open my eyes a little bit. 7 hits on Flacco. Now, Flacco does hold the ball a little bit more than a normal quarterback, but still, 7 hits, 3 sacks, that's impressive for their team.
The Patriots have stepped it up a little bit in the playoffs, and, but that's what I was saying throughout the years. They may give up a lot of yards, but they make plays when they have to make them.
Yeah. And that's the big key, that they make plays at... Now, this is where this Super Bowl matchup is going to be so good. They make plays when they have to, like on 3rd down. They could get the team off the field. Giants are the best at 3rd down conversion. Even, they average, about 15 3rd down conversions a game. They convert 9 of those. That's unheard of.
I mean, Eli comes through in the clutch. I mean, they don't have much of a run game. They got 2 solid running backs, but they don't got much of a running game with them. They're not as productive as they should be, and it usually falls on Eli's arm, and he most of the time gets it done.
All right, so we are going to get to questions. We have people asking questions inside of our Justin TV or Twitch TV channel. We are going to get to you guys pretty soon. So if you put your questions up, we will get to you. Stay and listen. All right, so now let's jump to the offensive line. We won't spend too much time here because it's not sexy, and we try to concentrate on the sexy here on this show.
We can't help it.
So the Giants gave up only 1 sack versus Atlanta, 1 sack versus, what was I saying?
Green Bay?
Green Bay, my bad. 1 sack versus Green Bay. Green Bay played horrible, but the 49ers killed them. 6 sacks, 12 hits. He was hit 12 times.
Yeah, I mean, they got a soft O-line. If you put pressure, and they can get to Eli. I mean, it's possible. You saw it. The 49ers did. Now, this isn't a 49ers type defense.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
So, I mean, that's an anomaly right there. That's, the exception.
Here's the thing. Now, we know that Eli, even though the offensive line is mediocre, Eli is going to stay in the pocket to the last possible second to give his receiver a chance and throw the ball. He's not afraid to take a hit, probably because he hasn't been majorly injured yet because of it. So he's still going to go in there and take the hit and throw the ball at the last possible second.
And it's because he runs like he's in quicksand all the time. So he tries to take off. He's a dead man.
He runs like there's something wrong with his leg.
Bow-legged.
We'll get to that in a bit, but it still surprised me that they gave up 6 sacks, 12 hits, and 5 tackles for losses. That when I was looking at the stats for that game, if you just read me the stats for that 49er game, 49ers, to me, I would say, 49ers won, no doubt, but they didn't, of course. Sad face.
Now, okay, but with that pressure that you're talking about on Eli, those hits, what that turns into is turnovers. And that's going to be huge in this game if that kind of pressure is put on him and he starts airing the ball up like he did against the Niners, where they missed 2 interceptions that they should have had. Yeah, because the safety and the cornerback tried to kill each other. Golson broke him up twice. Yeah, I'm not sure what he was thinking there. I mean, they were just playing for the ball. If you looked at it, neither one was aware of the other person. They were both trying to make a play. Yeah, but it ended up falling, in New York's favor. Now, if you look at the New England side of the ball for the line, they didn't give up any sacks, but I think the Broncos fell victim to the moment. I think the moment was too big for them. They had playing a lot of rookies, second, third-year guys. They didn't know really how to deal with it. So they didn't get any sacks. They did hit Brady twice, but Brady had 4 touchdowns before I finished my sandwich, so that really didn't matter. And at the same time, Von Miller wasn't 100%, so he's the main pass rusher. He was playing with a cast because of broken thumb. Yeah. And also, now versus
Baltimore only got to him once, but they hit him pretty hard 3 times and in his face the whole time. So you can see once they got that 1 sack, and then the series after that when they hit him, you can see he was throwing the ball sooner than he should. The timing was off. Now, they weren't jamming the receivers. It was just Brady that his timing was off. He just didn't have a good game.
Yeah, he had a bad game, and he admitted it himself. If you heard about that article where he talked to his owner and told him that he sucked that game and he was going to play better, somehow that conversation was between them and it got out into the public. But, nonetheless, he knows that he had a terrible game and he vowed to do better at the Super Bowl.
Now, usually I'm a big linebacker guy. I'm a huge linebacker guy. But we're not going to have big plays at the linebacker. There's only one stud-ish linebacker in this matchup. It's Boley. But you're not going to see too many big plays from the linebackers here, especially on the New England side. But let's jump on the Giants side first.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
You're going with Boley as the only stud out of the linebacker corps?
Yeah, there's no really other stud that jumps out to me.
Are we talking about just the Giants, or are we talking about in general?
In general, both teams. We get some Mayo.
Yeah, I would go exactly.
Mayo is pretty good.
Oh, yeah, Jared Mayo. The man's tough. He's going to hold it down on his end. So he's going to make some plays. They're going to be going all out, and he's going to. I say he forces one fumble.
One fumble. That's a big statement from the linebacker.
Book it.
If they want to get pressure on Eli, they're going to have to send these linebackers. That's the difference between these two teams.
Right.
The Giants are gonna drop 7 in the secondary, where the Patriots are only gonna drop 5 most of the time. So that's gonna be the big difference there. So versus Atlanta, we're only breaking down the playoff numbers here because in the playoffs it's a totally different ball game. So that's why we kind of limited the numbers here. Versus Atlanta, now solo tackles. Solo tackles are different than normal tackles because most of the time someone wraps him up, then someone else comes to finish him off. They both get credit for the tackle or half the tackle. I didn't count those. Solo tackles are tackles in space, tackles that matter. You earn your paycheck by your solo tackles. 13 by the linebacker corps. 13, 17, and 15. They didn't get many. For the Giants corps. The Giants corps. And Boley, Beeston. Boley and Blackburn had a breakout game versus the Niners. Where he had 15 tackles.
They played good. They played really good that game. I mean, they stopped a lot of runs. They were really surprising. I didn't think they were that good.
It surprised me how Gore didn't have. Usually Gore's going to wear your ass down where he's going to break one, for 30 or 40.
Right, exactly.
And that didn't happen.
No, he was stopped a lot of times behind. I mean, he still had a good average, but they were some bigger runs. But there were a lot of negative runs in that game. So
the Patriots side of the ball, now this is where it surprised me. Well, we're going to throw out the Bronco game, okay? So versus Baltimore, they didn't get any tackles for losses, but the people that actually the linebackers like Mayo, who was putting pressure on Flacco, where maybe they didn't hit him, but they put pressure on him and they got the sack. It was from the linebacker corps. So it surprised me how they were able to get through there and confuse him a little bit. And that could be Belichick's scheme. But I was shocked that the linebackers were able to get there, especially the terrible year that they have, the first half of the year, I should say. But only 6 solo tackles. So I think if the Giants could take advantage of that, run some slants and some corner routes and stuff like that to take advantage of the linebackers, I think they can put a better chance to win this game.
Well, they have to play a swarming type defense because one-on-one, they're not really individually good enough to stop too many people. They have to play that team defense that everybody hawks at the ball.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed as well. The solo tackles were completely down against Baltimore. Baltimore, they had 330 yards passing. It was ridiculous. 330 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing. They should have won that game.
Didn't work out that way on either side.
Okay, so there goes the linebacker breakdown. So let's talk about. You want to go to cornerbacks, DBs?
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm a huge DB guy as well. I love linebackers and DBs. For you guys who follow me on Madden and watch me on Madden, you guys know that. The DBs for the Giants.
Wait, can I just say that people actually do follow you when you play Madden? That's amazing to me. People sit there and watch you play Madden.
Because I'm awesome.
How many people watched you play last time you played?
Like 50-something.
Jesus Christ, people, get a life.
Don't diss our listeners.
I'm sorry.
Don't diss our listeners.
The only way I would watch you play a video game is if I was going to play you and I would watch what plays you use. But
Hey, I've actually played you while I was streaming on there, so people saw me beat you.
I don't know about that. Hopefully that's deleted.
It is not deleted, buddy. All right. So the DBs, which are cornerback, safeties, free safeties. So we're going to break down the Giants first. Matt Ryan had a 71.7 rating against them. He didn't throw any interceptions, but they just couldn't move the ball against that defense. It was a breakout game for the defense there. They averaged 4.9 yards per catch. I mean, they just couldn't do anything. Couldn't get any first downs. That's when they only scored 2 points from the phantom safety over there.
Yeah, well, the defense shut them out. I mean, if you take away that safety, that game is a shutout.
Yeah. So now versus Green Bay surprised me a little bit. Only 264 yards they allowed, 5 yards per catch, which means they're used to throwing those slants or something where they get the receiver in space, the receiver makes a move, and they're off to the races. Stat heads like to call it yak, yards after catch. And you can't do that against the Giants. The corners are too good at tackling.
They're a very good tackling team. They are.
Alrighty, so now the New England Patriots DBs. That's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, they give up a lot of yards.
They have a college and high school quarterback playing cornerback.
Who?
I don't even know I can't even think of his name. He joined the team late, but they have a quarterback playing corner for their team right now.
Well, they also got a wide receiver playing on defense, much like they did when they had Brown a couple years back when they had him playing both ways. They got one of their They got one of their wide receivers playing both ways. So they're hurting at the DB position.
Now, and the thing that everybody calls Belichick, he's a genius. Oh, if you guys are watching a simulation, it's 14-0 right now, New York Giants.
Edelman, by the way. I'm sorry. Edelman's the one playing both ways.
Okay. I can make a comment there, but I'm going to keep pause. That's all I'm going to say is pause. So, now, if like I said, they're not going to get it in space, they're going to tackle them and things like that. But the coaches. So Belichick, everyone says he's a genius, but his drafting has been horrible, especially on the defensive side. He drafts these players, he cuts them, he picks them back up, and then he gets so desperate he has to put a quarterback in as corner.
I can't say that. I can't say his drafting's been terrible because look at what he's done. This is his 5th Super Bowl he's gone to. In a free agent era the way it is now, where you don't get players that stick with a team for long periods of time. Everybody has a good season, they take off for a big paycheck.
Well, that's been their MO. They don't pay guys.
Exactly, but that's what's more impressive. People know you're not going to get a paycheck from us. You do good, you can take off. I'll just replace you with somebody else, coach them up, and get the same results.
But here's what's crazy about that. So I say 2007, since the Giants won that Super Bowl, maybe the year before that, people's paychecks increased. People were demanding for money and things of that sort. They haven't won a Super Bowl since then. They haven't had the players to win a Super Bowl since then. They didn't win in 2007, and quite honestly, I don't think they're going to win on Sunday.
I think they got a good shot, but we'll talk about that later.
So, it's like they didn't pay Randy Moss. They didn't pay any of their defensive guys. That's why all their defensive guys left, either retired or went to different teams.
Traded like Seymour.
Or traded, and Seymour's still beasting, even though he's running towards the end right now. He's running towards the end.
But it's still, they made the right decision with Seymour. As good as he is, he would have been more of a detriment to that locker room than he would helping the team out.
You can't tell me if he was on Richard Seymour and Wolf Fork on the team right now. Oh my! It would shut him down with them. You couldn't run.
But well, talent-wise, yes, but there's more to it. There has to be locker chemistry, and
that is
Seymour,
true.
He doesn't seem the type that would keep the Patriot way going.
That is true. Even though when he was there, I didn't hear too much of him.
Right, exactly.
Even now, he's outspoken now because I think he's adjusted to the whole Raider Nation. He embraced the Raider Nation, which is why I think the Raider fans gravitate to him whenever he talks.
Right, but it's also probably a reason that Belichick got rid of him in the first place because he was talented. And he still got traded away. So there had to be a reason why he was traded away.
Well, let's hope Allen and McKenzie and the boys can can get him fired up again.
Well, I got nothing to say about them. I don't talk about non-playoff teams at this time of the year.
All right.
We can talk about them when it comes to draft. Oh, can't talk about them then either.
Hey, we got 4th and 5th round picks, buddy. We still in there. What are you doing?
When everybody's sleeping, or
when everybody changes the channel. Okay, so let's get into wide receivers. The wide receiver core for the Patriots, Brady spreads the ball around, so it's not just one person; it's a collective group of guys. You got Hernandez, Gronk, you got Branch. I think Ocho's going to have a big game. I think Belichick had to do something in the playbook to have Ocho have a breakout game to spread the field. That's the only way I could see them winning.
I was thinking the same way. It's almost like he's hiding Ocho Cinco, so the game plan isn't concerned about him, just to unleash him for the Super Bowl.
And I'm totally against Belichick bringing this whole grand wizard everybody makes him out to be, but he will win me over if they win this game. If they win this game by an awesome game plan, he will win me over.
If they win this game, instantly it boosts Brady and Belichick up as two of the best at their spots ever, because they have the worst defense ever in the Super Bowl. Ever. All 46. The worst one ever coming into a Super Bowl. And if they win this game, it has to be because of both of those people.
And people talk about Belichick like he's a player on the field. I mean, they say Brady and Belichick. You're stepping into Brady and Belichick. You don't really say that with any other team. Any other team, it's Eli Manning, it's Peyton Manning, Alex Smith. You don't say Harbaugh and Alex Smith,
Right.
People talk about him like he's a player because he means that much to the team. His schemes from game to game, I don't think anyone puts you in a better position to win game to game like Belichick does.
Even if he cheated with Spygate, I honestly don't care. That's brilliant. I mean, to even think of doing that, it's brilliant. Like they say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
So we're getting some comments here. Actually, they're just comments. They're not questions. So Chris Magetic something 973. You have an incredibly long name. I suggest you change that. If you want to ask a question, go ahead and put a question mark behind it, because we're doing a show and there's a lot involved. So just write a question mark behind it. We'll pick it up and we'll answer it.
Let the people know again where they can watch we're simulcasting. We're simulating the Super Bowl right now with the Patriots and the Giants. Let them know where they can watch it.
So you can watch it on Justin TV/MancaveGaming. Or you can go to our website, which is the MancaveMag.com. And all the way on the right, you see like a little video game with a headset button. Just go ahead and click that. It'll bring it up, and just hit the play button, and you can see the Super Bowl simulation as we talk on here. And it is 14-0 Giants still. The second quarter just started, 3rd and 7 for the Pats. Actually, let's see what's going to happen here. I'm pretty curious.
It's pretty interesting. I'm sorry. I know you guys can't see it because we're on the radio and all, but I'm sorry. It's just the way I am. If there's a TV on, I just
you just have to watch it. Yeah. All right. So Brady. Oh, pressure on Brady gets hit. Goes to Branch. First down. So they're in threat to score.
First and goal.
Yeah. First and goal on the 9. So there's the Super Bowl matchup breakdowns for you. Now, if you were to ask me to grade it or who has the edge, I would say Giants have the edge almost on every aspect, except for the interior defensive line. So I give the interior defensive line edge to the Patriots, but the outside edge to the Giants.
So
everything else
has
Giants.
a bigger impact on the game, though. So that's it. Oh, okay, I'm with that. I get what you're saying. You're right, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
But which has a bigger impact on the game?
You're asking me which one of these positions?
Because look at it this way. Giants' pressure comes from the side. Brady, even though he's just like a sloth speed, I mean, he's ridiculously slow. I would pick Eli Manning in a race.
I think I could beat them in a 40 time.
Very slow.
Yeah.
But he has awesome pocket presence. He makes the 2-3 steps in each direction that he has to create the space and the time.
Eli or Brady?
Brady.
Okay.
So now with the defensive lines, the pressure from the Giants comes from the outside, which means Brady's almost at an advantage because all he has to do is step up, sidestep, whatever he needs to do to create space. But with Will Fork, the Patriots' pressure comes straight up the middle.
Yeah.
the center just pushed back into the quarterback. And as a quarterback, that's the last place you want pressure from, is right up the gut.
Now, that used to be true for Brady. I think even, and this is where it's been a problem, because, or where it's hard to kind of predict this game. The Patriots have not been tested other than Baltimore. They had one test this year, and it was late. There's only been one other team in the NFL that made it to the Super Bowl with not having to play a winning record team, and I think it was like the Steel Curtain Steelers. Yeah, gee, that's a mouthful.
It's right there, man. Add the Ers to the end. It's right there.
So it's kind of hard to say what they're going to do, because you can't pull up examples, because you look at the quarterbacks they played. Just look in their division: Mark Sanchez, Moore, the guy from the Bills, the guy who just signed that contract, Fitzpatrick. I mean, he has not been tested. This defense really has not been tested.
Wait, but
even against Baltimore,
giving up yards.
But check this out.
Giving up a lot of yards.
That's what's scary.
Yards to bad quarterbacks.
That's what's scary. Now take a look at actually the whole AFC. There aren't any good quarterbacks. The good quarterbacks got hurt. Peyton Manning hurt. Matt Shaw hurt. The list goes on and on and on.
Here's a testament to how bad their defense is. Tebow, the first time they played, because they played twice this year, actually had one of his best games against their team, their defense.
Yeah.
It was probably one of his most complete games. Now, they got blown out, but still, it was one of the most complete games.
So this is why it's hard for me to put any stock into Belichick defense right now. It's
and he is a defensive coach. That's what
he got his staple for that.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the players that came out of there. Hall of Fame players came out of there, especially at the linebacker position. So,
Mr. Brewski.
Yeah, Brewski. I just don't see it. I don't see a scenario. Brady,
I can't bet against Brady. I can't do it. He's got Griffin. I know people say that Eli's becoming this elite quarterback, and he works hard, but he's not. I just don't see him driven like Brady is. Brady's got revenge on his mind, legacy.
Yes, he does.
He's got a lot riding on his game. I think he has more pressure on him than Eli does, and he just responds better to pressure.
Now, here's the thing. This is gonna let you know what's gonna happen. It's set the tone. If the Giants could get after Brady and get him to move and try to throw the ball while moving in the first quarter, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. But if they can't get to him in time and they don't disrupt the timing, then the Patriots have a chance. But if they can get pressure on Brady, rushing 4, dropping 7, they have no chance.
And that's where
I don't see it.
That's where Gronk's injury comes in.
Yeah, because Gronk can check, that fast rushing end to kind of slow him down. But if Gronk's not there to do it, you're going to rely on Hernandez, and now that just takes another receiver or weapon away from Brady. So it's going to be tough.
I still can't bet against him. So you're going with the Giants.
It kind of feels eerie, doesn't it? I mean,
well, here's the thing. I know that if you talk to everybody, if you see, ESPN, anywhere, Yahoo Sports, everybody is picking the Giants, and they've been underdogs this whole year, and they thrive in that position. The Patriots have actually been the opposite. They've been favored. I think that because everybody's going with the Giants, they're actually going to be a little overconfident, and it's going to come back and bite them in the ass.
And that's what scares me. It's, okay, we're talking about Belichick, we're talking about Brady, and everybody's betting against them. If something isn't right, something doesn't feel right.
Exactly. Everybody's betting the Giants.
It's 65-35 right now in Vegas. People betting heavy on the Giants. I mean,
and I'm putting my money on the Patriots as soon as I get it.
Vegas is right. I think I want to say 76% of the time for the favorite. But Madden actually simulated, and they've been right 80% of the time. So we're gonna see who does the best system. It'd be funny if they actually simulated using like 2K, like 2K5 or something like that. All right, so we do have. All right, so we do have a question coming through Justin TV. Do you think the Patriots are investing in a special shoe for Gronk? Now, I think at least that they are trying to look into a cleat.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. They're doing everything, but mostly they're going to probably look for something that has some high ankle support. If you play basketball, if you have a high ankle sprain, you shouldn't want to put pressure on it.
You shouldn't play basically if you have a high.
Well, yeah, but it's been too
keys to the game. The keys to the game, if you want us to repeat, the linebackers and the front four of the Giants, if they can get pressure on Brady, drop 7, I don't see them winning, basically. If the Giants can control the ball, they run third downs, dropping 7 on defense, I just can't come up with a scenario for them to win. Now, the Pats, they're going to have to keep Brady's jersey clean. That's the key to their game.
Yeah, he's going to have to stay upright and play, not on the run, but he'll get it done.
All right, so prediction. Let's get a prediction with the score. I'm going with 24-28 Giants.
24-28, all right. I'm going 34-24 Patriots.
34-24.
34-24.
That's almost an ass whooping. Yeah,
it's a high. Well,
yeah.
10 points isn't a blowout because you can get a late touchdown here and there or a late field goal. It could be. I think it's going to be a one-score game until the end, and then someone's going to they're going to
score
a little bit, but it's not going to be a blowout.
All right. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be. I'm actually excited to watch this Super Bowl. Just as excited I was to watch it in 2007. Just as excited. Okay, so now let's jump to the NFL Pro Bowl and how terrible the Pro Bowl was to watch. I actually couldn't finish watching it today.
I barely ever watched that thing. It's just, I get it. It's an exhibition. You got a bunch of guys. Their season's over. They don't want to get hurt. They're out. They're out there to collect a paycheck at the same time. They make it's like $40,000. They get paid $40,000 to play in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, here's the thing. You have people pay for tickets. Anytime the audience is paying for tickets to see you, and ultimately that's what pays your paycheck, or the viewers or the people who are going to the games. They're helping pay and fund your paycheck. You have to give it your all, I think. You take a look at the NBA All-Star game. Maybe they mail it in and try to give the crowd a show in the first or second quarter, but when that second half starts, you can tell they start playing defense and they're trying to win.
Well, but see, I don't think you can make a fair comparison because it's two different sports. In basketball, it's not so much that I think they go hard, but they go hard on offense. They showboat, and then come fourth quarter, they lock it down on both ends, and the game actually gets serious.
Yeah.
There's really no. If you half-ass it in basketball, you could still get hurt. You could twist an ankle on anybody's foot at any given time. But in NFL, especially for linemen, I can see why they take it easy. They don't go hard because in the trenches you can bust a hand on helmets clashing. It's a much more physical game.
I understand. I see where you're coming from, but I still think maybe there has to be some type of incentive for winning. If you win the game, you get $200,000. Something of that sort that makes it worth it to play. A baseball fell victim to this, where people were basically mailing it in. And then Bud Selig had to step in and say, okay, now, which is ridiculous. They shouldn't have done this, where the winner of the All-Star game gets home field advantage during the World Series.
So stupid. That's just dumb.
That's dumb. Nothing that drastic, but something has to be done so the players can actually play hard. And Aaron Rodgers ripped his team, basically.
Yeah,
he ripped his team.
I'll go ahead and read it here. He said, I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed. I felt like some of the guys on the NFC side embarrassed themselves. I wanted to know the plays, and I wanted to play well, and I wanted to give the fans a show and make Green Bay fans who were watching for me, my teammates, I wanted to make them proud of their Pro Bowlers. I was just surprised that some of the guys either didn't want to play or when they were in there didn't put any effort into it. And that's from a competitor like Aaron Rodgers. When you lace up, you play hard.
Yeah.
You do your best. Because he's right. These people in Hawaii, they paid money to watch the show. These people, some of them paid $25 just to get into the media. Like in the Super Bowl, they paid to get into media day. The same thing happened here in the Pro Bowl. These people paid to be around these players, and now they got a half-ass show.
And that's where I think something has to be done about it. You can't leave the players up to it because, of course, the players are going to do less spot.
What can you do?
Either money, I think money incentive, especially players in the NFL are driven by money. You start finding a player, 10, 20, 30,000, they'll stop doing it.
Why? But how would you find them? What are you going to say?
No, not find them, but I'm just saying, giving an example how they're driven by money.
But here it's kind of like it's extra money in their pocket regardless. They don't care. It's $40 grand. I mean, honestly, $40 grand to a lot of these players, it's nothing. It's like a weekend at a strip club. They don't care.
Yeah. Well, 40. You have to do something. Maybe make it, $100 grand or $200 grand for winning. The team does something like that, or something has to be done. I don't know exactly what, but I know something has to be done, and maybe monetary is the answer.
I think that they should just scrap the Pro Bowl, scrap it completely, and have like an NBA type skills challenge. Like you have your people that are designated, like, okay, kind of like you make them all pros. You're an all pro this year, but because all pros don't do anything special. They're labeled an all pro, and that goes with them into the next season. And the same thing can happen with the Pro Bowl. You're labeled a Pro Bowler, but then for the key positions, they have a skills competition, because that's what the people want to see. Nobody wants to see people blocking.
I'm up for that, actually. I actually love that. I love that idea. Like, okay,
thought of it right now.
if you're a linebacker, you made it to the Pro Bowl, you got to compete against these other linebackers to do some type of skill challenge to prove you're the best.
Exactly, like
that. Yeah.
Pass defense, run defense.
Yeah.
Keep up. Like, yeah, exactly. You have a Pro Bowl running back. Okay, you got to try to tackle this running back.
Yeah.
See how you keep up. I mean, because think about it, one-on-one. Just like, when you play Madden and you do the skills practice, how they have the one-on-one linebacker with the running back, and you got to tackle him. That's how. I mean, picture putting, Patrick Willis against, Arian Foster.
Now,
one-on-one.
That'll be awesome.
In front of, nothing. There's 20 yards between them. You got to get to the end zone.
Now, you're still going to get hurt there.
But still, okay. but at the same time, that's going to make them play harder because they don't want to be embarrassed. You think Patrick Willis is going to want to get shook in open field?
Yeah.
Or you think that Arian Foster's want to get lit up? It'll put
that brings the YouTube factor back into it, the Twitter, like, exactly. Oh my God, did you see that fact? I like that idea.
See, social media now, you get lit up, it's going to stay with you forever.
All right, so let's make a little jump here. This is what everyone's talking about, brought to you by MaddenEdge.com. If you want to get an edge on your Madden, go to MaddenEdge.com. So let's jump to the NBA. The top 5 East and West teams. Let's focus on the top 2 right now. When I say Miami is the top team in the league, no, I'll have to put Oklahoma as the top team in the NBA.
Yeah, I would do the same.
Denver, I still have a problem with Denver being in the top 5. I still have a problem.
They're an awesome team to watch. They're entertaining, but come playoff time, they're not going anywhere. They're a speed team, fast break team.
Now, just because everyone uses the Pistons when they beat the Lakers, was it 2004? They didn't have a star, so everyone thinks you don't have to have a star to win because they did it. No, I just think they got hot at the right time. Prince played well within his limits. Hamilton played well within his limits. I mean, everybody on that team was peaking at the right time. That's why they beat the Lakers, and the Lakers had problems.
They were a good defensive team. They were just, they were awesome defensively.
And I think the Lakers ran into head game problems. They were fighting against themselves when that was happening.
They were actually just bullied on that. That series.
So I don't think I have a hard time putting them in the top 5, to tell you the truth. And Indiana definitely deserves to be in the top 5.
They're playing bully type ball. They're talking a lot of garbage. They're a pretty talented team.
Yeah, and who would have thought that Granger will come into his own here, and the coach is doing an awesome job with their players.
Well, people have been expecting it from him forever, and now he's finally starting to show up. And then he's got West. They just signed in the offseason. That doesn't hurt to have a power forward that can take it inside and outside.
So to me, that seems like a team that's playing like they have no stars in it. They're being unselfish, but that team has stars in it. I see Granger. I see West. Hell, I even see Collison. Yeah. I see him as a star player. So, they just threw another touchdown. So it's tied. It's a tie game on the simulation.
Don't bet against Brady.
At one point, they were down 7-17. And then the Clippers. Man, does ESPN have the Clippers high? They're 11-6, and they're number 6 in the power rankings.
Well, they're number 2 seed right now. If you look at it in the Western Conference, they're an athletic team, young. Come playoff time, because of Chris Paul, I think they have the leadership where they could win a tough series. But I still.
Now, did you see that Utah game? Or did you hear about it?
Yeah, exactly. First time they've won there since 2003.
And the way Chris Paul is playing, it's like he's in shape now, because he wasn't playing like this early. It's like maybe he came into the season a little bit out of shape. But now, he was crossing people. He looked like the 2009 Chris Paul.
He was running, stealing, rebounding. He was doing it all.
And Chris Paul's only 26. We talk about him like he's an old fart.
Well, he has had because you have to, because he's had a lot of knee issues, and those don't go away. Those are there. They may not be as bad at times, but they don't go away. And
the Philadelphia 76ers, another surprise team.
No.
You don't think they're a surprise team?
I'll say they're surprised, but they're like, if we're selling or buying, I'm not buying.
I love Doug Collins.
It's when your star player is Andre Iguodala. Sorry, you're not going nowhere. Nowhere. None.
All right, so
he's a 6-man at best.
Dallas does not belong in the top 10. I'm not sure what he's smoking there. Atlanta's been coming into their own a little bit, and now they're talking about getting Kenyon Martin. I mean, they're putting a strong point at getting Kenyon. We'll get to later on all the teams that are looking to get him.
And Miami's going after him too. I'm not high on him. He can't score. He's got a terrible jumper. He can't shoot free throws. He doesn't have the hops to get the rebounds like he used to. I don't know why people were so high on him. He's done.
And I don't even think he didn't play good defense, actually.
No, he's terrible.
He's a liability on defense.
He gets blocks every now and then, but that's gone away as his hops have gone away.
Yeah.
His jumping abilities diminished, so goes his defense.
And speaking of Kenyon Martin, let's talk about his old teammate, J.R. Smith. Now, he's still in China because he's still under contract.
Idiot.
Dude, this guy scored 60 points in the China playoff game.
He better. He's an NBA player in the China League. He better score. He better average 60 points. It's ridiculous. And he better play pissed off every night.
So he's going to finish the season off there, and why not? He might as well.
He won't be back till March.
And FIBA actually let Kenyon Martin go, so he can get signed as early as tomorrow, I believe, and join the team as early as Monday. So he can start taking his physical to join the team tomorrow and join the team by Monday. So FIBA actually did good. China did good by letting him go.
Yeah. I mean, they just want. I tell you the truth, they're probably keeping JR because he's a headache. He's kind of like all the stuff that they were saying he was being difficult in practice. Like he was getting to the point where he was trying to make it where they hate him, so they'll let him go just so they don't have to deal with him.
Yeah.
And that, I think, it backfired on him.
Yeah. But hey, he's balling for them right now. Maybe they give him a little bonus. Okay. Minnesota, I still think they're going to squeak into the playoffs. They have too good of a team. They just haven't put it together yet. Why? Because they're young. But they put it together. They're going to make the playoffs. Kevin Love, to me, the best power forward in the game right now. I can't say, even if you put Chris Bosh in the power forward section there, I think Kevin Love is still the best power forward.
He would destroy Bosh. I would take him over Bosh any day. And with Ricky Rubio?
Yeah, he has more range than Bosh. He doesn't get up high, but he still gets the rebound. He has that knack for where the ball is going to go.
He bodies up. He uses. He plays basketball the way they teach big men to play. But and honestly, he's not as athletic as other power forwards, and that's actually worked to his advantage because he's had to learn how to play the right way because he doesn't get by on just athletic ability alone like a lot of high jumpers do. He actually has to play fundamentally, body someone up when the shot goes up, and that's how he gets so many rebounds.
All right, so we kind of gave you guys who we think should round out the top 10. I have to put, of course, we're Laker fans here at this station. To put the Lakers in the top 10, I think you have to. Well, and the way that they played their last game, I mean, even if it was against the Bobcats, anyone watching the Lakers know they haven't been making jumpers. Open three-pointers, they've been terrible, shooting something like 30% on the year. Now, for them to shoot as many threes and make as many threes as they did against the Bobcats was something good to see. For their reserves to shoot 10 of 4. Did they just score on that last second play? We're going to see here. No.
Challenge it.
Okay, so for their reserves to go 10 of 14 from the three-point line, that's encouraging. That means they're finally coming around it. And
see, I can't buy it.
You can't?
You know me, Laker diehard just like you, but I can't. I don't buy them yet because I don't think they're consistent enough. I need to see it over maybe a 10, 15 game period. Then I'll start to believe it. 1 or 2 games here and there, I can't buy it yet. The bench, they're too talented to be as inconsistent as they are.
And I think that too. Troy Murphy, got it going a little bit, and then you had the Gridlock coming off the bench hitting open shots. To be quite honest, for the Lakers to be successful, to grab the 3rd to the 6th seed, I think that's where they're going to land. They have to bench Derek Fisher.
Have to. He gets blown by now ridiculously. Like, he doesn't even try.
I understand loyalty. I understand he's the heart of that team because Kobe speaks through Fisher. sometimes Fisher is a vocal guy in the locker room because Kobe leads by example. And here's an example of that. The Lakers need to rebound because they were getting killed on the offensive glass. He went out and got 14 rebounds, and basically that's him telling you, you guys need to rebound better. Hey, I could go out and grab 14 as a 6'6" shooting guard. You can go out there and grab 14 as a 7'1" center or power forward.
Which they should be doing, but they got to bench him and they got to let Goldilocks play more. I mean, the kid's young and he's a scorer. Yeah. When he was in college, that's what he did. I think he averaged like 20 to 25 a game.
Yeah,
he could light it up.
And he has a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he said that I'm just as good as the 45 people that went ahead of me in the draft. So, and he's starting to prove it. I mean, he has a running jumper. He has a running what do you call that? Little touch shot floater. He can shoot the three.
Yeah, the three he's great at.
He can play defense. He's a good backup. I mean, yes, you leave him as a backup. He's a rookie. He has a lot to learn. We need a veteran guard. A veteran guard. Sessions, I don't think is an answer.
Really?
I don't.
Really?
I don't think Sessions is.
I would go for him. Better than Arenas. I wouldn't bring Arenas. What's Arenas going to do?
I think they're bringing Arenas in because they were having trouble scoring it, and that's going to relieve some of that pressure. Even though this last year in Orlando, he shot a terrible percentage.
Exactly. And not only that, you don't replace an old, slow guard like Fisher with an old, injury-prone guard like Arenas. At least Fisher stays healthy.
Yeah, Fisher plays just about every game. But when you're on that, this scared me, okay? Lakers get on a break on a steal. Ron Artest and Fisher are leading the break for the Lakers. I automatically thought in my head, this can't end well, but Fisher ended up making a layup. When you're a point guard, you don't know if he's going to go in and make an open layup or not. That's scary.
It's bad. And yeah, they're both wild cards, and but they were probably ahead because again, they're both as old as they are, and on their way down in their career. Physically, they're ridiculous specimens, both of them, especially Derek Fisher. The man works out. Like, looking at he's old, but when you see him cutting and quickness-wise, he's lost.
Yeah, he has, definitely. All right, so let's talk about the play of the week, maybe the play of the year. Blank's dunk over Kendrick Perkins. It had everybody buzzing. I was watching a game with my dad. He actually woke up my son from his sleep. He yelled so loud. What's my take on it? It was amazing. This is why it was amazing. Blake is the only player in the NBA that can go up for a dunk or a layup, absorb contact, and still keep rising and finish.
Okay, and I get that, and that part was completely impressive. I mean, his hops are just out of this world.
Yeah, it's like he's cheating.
But if we're grading the dunk, he gets a 0 because it wasn't a dunk.
It was. His fingertips hit the rim.
Two of his greatest dunks aren't dunks.
His fingertips hit the rim on this dunk, though. That's what made it a dunk.
So would you put that fingertip dunk over Perkins, over any Jordan dunk, over Jordan's?
To me, Jordan's best move wasn't even a dunk. To me, Jordan's best move was the I'm going to show you the ball, switch to the other hand at the last minute layup.
Versus the Lakers in the finals.
That to me was Jordan. His best move to me wasn't even a dunk.
Okay, so what about his dunk on Patrick Ewing, where he just
that was nasty.
Teabags him after he dunks it on him.
That was nasty. If Patrick Ewing didn't really body check him like Perkins tried to body check Griffin, because Perkins knew he's going to try to dunk over me, let me body him, but he absorbed that body contact, kept rising, and went forward toward the basket. I haven't seen anything
Jordan does have one like that. He has one against Tree Rollins where he hits him and he keeps going up, and then he just slams shit out of the ball. I mean, he throws it through the basket, grabs it, and screams. And like I said, Blake Griffin's, it's impressive, but I can't count it as a dunk. It's one hell of an impressive layup.
All right, so let's take a look at the reaction. Do you have the reactions of the players?
I don't.
Okay, so
no, it's right here. Hold on, let me see here.
Okay, so let's bring up the reaction of the players. King James, that's his Twitter name. I hate that name, King. Anyway, LeBron James said dunk of the year. He said Blake Griffin just dunked on Kendrick Perkins so hard.
Let's see here.
He said, "Wow, guess I'm number 2 now. Move over number 6."
Oh God!
And that just came.
First of all, that pisses me off even more because I'm number 2 now. Who the hell told you were number 1?
Well,
what does he do?
He jumped over a guy to dunk the ball.
Oh, over a guard.
He didn't see it
Vince
coming.
Carter dumped over a 7-foot center.
That
when
was
he
amazing.
Does that, you come talk to me. He dunked over Lucas. Big deal. He's like 6-foot guard.
But to the credit of LeBron, it was a straight jump over. Like, his legs cleared the guy.
He should be able.
Vince Carter went for the split the legs thing.
Yeah, but he still cleared him. I mean,
He did.
and it was 7 foot. Like, and let's see what other responses here. Stephen Curry, rewind. Let's see, which ones did you read off here? I am Amir Johnson. Oh my God, did you see that dunk Blake did? Yeah, OMG, he used that.
And then Eric Gordon, that was nasty by Blake Griffin. I mean, all the NBA. If you had a Twitter account and you looked on Twitter, somebody was saying something. I mean, that just proves how much the players love the game. Because if they weren't playing at that time, they said something about that dunk. Even Rudy Fernandez was commenting on the dunk.
Looking through these tweets here by the players on Griffin's dunk, this is kind of off topic here, but as a man, do you use OMG? Because I get it. You get 140 characters on Twitter, but still, as a man, you know what I'm saying? Do you use OMG? Would you do it?
You use OMG on OMG moments. That was an OMG moment. You get a pass. You get it when Blake Griffin dunks on Kendrick Perkins from whatever he jumped from and did that dunk. That's an OMG moment.
I can't do it. When I see OMG and a guy puts it up, I instantly think he's clapping his hands and kicking his feet out. Like, oh my God, oh my God, did you see that? Did you guys see that? Oh my God, I can't do it. I'm sorry. It doesn't do it for me.
What about the LOL? That's okay?
Yeah, LOL, of course.
Okay.
It's funny. It's funny.
All right.
Now, okay, wait. Now, the LOL, yes. The LMAO?
Yeah.
Not so much. Not so much.
Oh, okay.
So much.
So you got to hear Abel and his Twitter rules here.
Sorry, it's just there's an etiquette to it, people. Learn
his manly man Twitter rules.
If you have a penis, learn the man rules.
Okay, so now let's get into a little bit of NBA trade talk. Kenyon Martin is the top of the list. There's a lot of teams interested in him. I'm saying about 7 to 8 teams willing to pay him money. Portland Trailblazers, Charlotte
Bobcats. They're also willing to pay Prisbilla, so what's that say?
Clippers,
honestly, I would spend more money. I would spend more money on Prisbilla because he's 7'1". You can't teach height, you know.
You can't, but take a look at his numbers. They aren't that great. I mean, he averages 7 points a game, 6 points a game.
I'll take a 7'1" guy that's good for 6 fouls and just plop him right in the middle of the paint.
Yeah. So the Knicks, Hawks, Spurs, Clippers, Lakers, Blazers, Bobcats. All after Kenyon Martin's services, and the Bulls. All after his services. I'm trying to think, will he be a good fit in Chicago? No. I think Gooden is better than Martin, to tell you the truth.
He's
not
enough
as flashy.
They can't score.
I don't think he'll be a good fit in Chicago. I think Chicago's just reaching for a big guy, period.
Chicago needs a shooting guard.
Yeah. I think they need to move Noah to the 4 and get a big guy. Like, if Dwight went to Chicago, it'll be over.
Yeah.
It'll be over for years.
Well, defensively, that would be over. I think Dwight's very limited offensively. He's gotten better, but he doesn't show up every day.
But with Rose running the point, he wouldn't have to do much.
Yeah, you're right there.
He wouldn't have to do much.
There. He would catch a lot of lobs.
So if I had to guess where he would end up, he won't end up in New York. My guess is going to be either the Clippers, Lakers, or Atlanta Hawks.
People talk about Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon Martin, okay. Yeah. And people say that Heat's in the lead, but I don't think he's going to end up in Miami.
I say he goes to the Heat.
You think so?
Just because I think anybody that wants a championship, they know that they're going to get one sooner or later. They're just trying to ride that bus and get one this year. And then also, if you go there, they're a pretty stacked team right now. You don't got to do as much.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't have to make so much of an impact with that team as with any other team. Right. Yeah, I give you that. Okay, so now the Dwight Howard deal. He's came out and said, you know, I'll play for Chicago now. Chicago's on the table and all this, and I don't understand why they haven't made a move on him yet. He obviously doesn't want to be there.
Well, let's backtrack a little or not backtrack, just a little off the subject. Dwight Howard, a week ago, I believe, ripped his teammates for getting blown out by, who was it? I think Charlotte or somebody.
Not Charlotte. I forget who it was. That was before the start of their 4-game losing streak.
Terrible team.
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't have got
Wizards.
Wizards.
Yeah.
They got blown out. He ripped his team in the locker room, telling them, if you don't want to play, don't even come out the locker room. My problem with this, and maybe this is just how I am, as the supposed leader of that team, who publicly keeps coming out saying, I want to be traded, I'm not going to sign an extension, I'll play here, I'll go over there, I wouldn't mind that team. How the hell are you going to tell people, show up for the game, come out and play, when you're already looking for your next paycheck from your next team? You're not even mentally there. So how the hell are you going to tell somebody that they got to show up? He's tuned out to his team, and that's why they're going on this losing streak.
And they have to see that as a problem. They just have to. Now, this is a theory, and I kind of agree that they didn't want, because the All-Star Game's in Orlando, and that's coming up really soon. The Valentine weekend, actually. And why is it on Valentine weekend I'm always out with my wife in a hotel begging her to let me stay in the hotel to watch the game?
Sucks for you. I got that problem.
Every year. Anyway, that's a different subject. But they didn't.
Number one again.
They did not want him to come to Orlando and let's say a Laker jersey. They don't want to see that. The crowd doesn't want to see that, and maybe that's what they're waiting for.
But
they're waiting for the last second of the trade deadline. Yeah,
but so where do you think he goes?
He has to go. So the Lakers are the only team that can offer them something in return.
So they're playing chicken. Who gives up more? Do you think they give up Gasol and Bynum?
I think by waiting this long, they're hurting themselves. They're getting desperate. Dwight doesn't want to be there. It's evident he's not going to resign.
And they're playing like crap.
So that makes it harder on the Orlando Magic. So I think that the Lakers are going to get rid of Bynum. I think it's going to happen.
And they should. I mean, I like Bynum, but I don't trust him. I don't trust him physically. And I just don't.
Here's the way that Bynum is scoring, Dwight can easily score. Because here's the deal. You guys know the leading team in alley-oops is not Lob City, the Clippers. It's the team in the other locker room. The Lakers are leading the league in alley-oops this year. Doing it because of Andrew Bynum and they're lobbing to Andrew Bynum and they're logging to Powell.
And they lob to each other.
And with
Gasol going to Bynum most of the time, but still.
And you don't think that Dwight Howard will benefit greatly even more for that?
No, if you get him with Gasol, instantly they become the best team in the West. Yeah. But if they got to give up both, then
no way. I say beginning of the year, if Magic was serious about dealing him before the season started, hell, in the first week of the season, Lakers would have maybe thought about doing it. If they would have called and said, Mitch, we need both, Mitch probably would have pulled the trigger. Now, no way I'll do it. No way. And because they have all the leverage now, the Lakers, that is, for that deal.
But again, like I said before, they do have leverage, but at the same time, there's a spite there that I think that's deep. That Orlando doesn't want to give up Howard to the Lakers because they already lost Shaquille to the Lakers. They don't want to be looked at almost as the Lakers farm system, develop a great center and send them packing. I think that the owner really is taking that into account, and that's why he's holding off.
Here's the thing. I do understand that. Well, Bynum's 24. He is 2 years younger than Howard. Howard's 26. But Bynum is sloppy. When his hook shots look sloppy. That's why when he lands on a person's foot, he comes down awkwardly. Exactly. It's an injury. Exactly. It's bound to happen. And I think that's why the Lakers have to part ways with him, even though it's not like they're parting ways for another center who's crappy. It's Dwight Howard.
Right.
It's Dwight Howard here.
As good as Bynum is, it's still an upgrade.
Which I think Dwight Howard is playing a better level than Shaq was when Shaq came over to the Lakers.
Yeah. But at the same time, Shaq was more of a force. I think as talented as Dwight Howard is, that's why I don't believe it. If they have to give up both for him, it's still a rebuilding year because he's not as dominant as he should be. As talented and athletic as he is, he should be doing 30-20 every night.
And I think that having Kobe in his ear on his team will make him a better player. Look what they did to Powell the first year and the second year.
Yeah, well, see, it all depends because he's the alpha male right now. I don't know if he would be okay with Kobe jawing in his ear, telling him what he's doing wrong.
Well, let's see. What are the other teams he's thinking about going to? He got to deal with it with Chris Paul. Chris Paul is 100% alpha male. if he goes to the Clippers. Who else is on the table? Chicago, I guess he could still be the alpha male there because Derrick Rose is a little bit soft-spoken guy.
They're both they would kind of defer to each other.
Yeah.
I still don't think they're... Play-wise, Derrick Rose is the alpha male there, but personality-wise, I don't think he has that get in someone's ear personality that a Chris Paul or a Kobe Bryant has.
So, and then New Jersey, you're going to have Darren Williams. I mean, I think he needs this in his career. I mean, Kobe Bryant, the Kobe system, he needs it in his career if he wants to become great. If he wants to win a championship, that's what he has to do.
I agree. He definitely has to take the criticism. I just don't know if he'll be able to.
Yeah. Maybe he is too much of a kid mentality, but we'll see. There's only one way to find out. Yeah. And I think it's worth a chance.
And we're coming up on the trade deadline soon, so we're going to find out sooner than later.
Yep. So let's go ahead and get into our second segment, revisit the sports. We'll revisit the Week in Sports NFL edition. Now, you brought this to my attention. All the off-field problems this year, even recently.
In college and in NFL.
It's just ridiculous. And I think it has something to do with what college you go to. I think it definitely has something with what program you go to. Even when the player transitions to the NFL, what program did he come from that shaped him into a man? Because when you're in that 18 to 21 range, that's what shapes you to be a man. It helps you decide whether or not are you going to make the wrong decisions yourself, or are you going to learn from someone telling you not to make those decisions and move on. And I think like players like McClain, who is a stud linebacker and it's going to make money.
Stop lying.
Oh, he is a stud, dude.
You're out of your freaking mind.
We'll get into that in the local edition.
You must be high. He's not a stud.
Oh my God, you're tripping.
He's adequate at best.
He is the okay. We'll get into that a little
Rolando
bit.
McClain, slow Rolando McClain.
He is not slow.
He's nowhere.
Someone look up his 40 time. I bet you it's in a 4.7
terrible football
range.
instincts McClain.
No, it's the terrible defensive scheme.
Terrible life instincts McClain.
Yeah, terrible life instincts. That's for sure.
Well, he doesn't get smart on the football field all of a sudden.
I bet you he wouldn't drop a freaking punt either. Give it to the other team, huh?
He wouldn't run it nowhere. He might catch it, but he's not going to go
anywhere. Hey, catching is the first step. You got to catch it first. Tell Kyle Williams that.
Oh, okay. I can't say much because I got Alden Smith on my end getting in trouble with a DUI. So.
All right,
still, DUI. That's a little more acceptable.
So you came up with this story about this guy just getting out of prep school and then gets some kind of charge. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, shoot, I couldn't bring up the article, but Roger Lewis was a top recruit. He was a National Signing Day. I saw the article on Yahoo, by the way. What's sad is if you go to Yahoo's homepage about a couple days ago, there was an article about a player that made a promise to his mom who was dying. It was the same player, Roger Lewis. Come a couple days later on National Signing Day, there's an article about him who's being charged with rape. So instead of joining in the festivities of National Signing Day where all the high school athletes declare what college they're going to, he spent it in jail on rape charges. And that's just one example. Like I said, we got Alden Smith with the DUI, Rolando McClain with gun charges, Plaxico with the gun charges.
And then you got a player on Chicago buying kilos of cocaine.
Exactly.
Trying to start
pretty much a drug pin, a drug lord.
Trying to be Tony Montana.
Who signed a $5 million contract and he wants to now become a drug. I mean, it happens way too often, and I don't know why. I've heard, I've listened to different shows and whatever, and the excuses they've made for these, their upbringing, they don't know what to do with that much money, the decisions. To me, I don't buy any of those. I can't specify what I would think the problem was, but it can't be that broad. It has to be something in the establishment that they're being set up in, like recruits. When their visits, what they're being put through, what coaches are putting them through.
Yeah, that's exactly
what these high school coaches are putting them through. That gives them this mentality that that's okay to do,
and it's their entitlement. That's what they're feeling.
Yeah. That's
why I think that they have to take a hard look on where these players are coming from, what program are they coming from, because a player in college, especially getting a full ride on a scholarship, that program becomes their parent, because they're not going to see their parents nearly as often as they were when they went to high school. So it's up to that program to kind of shape that boy into a man, to make those right decisions. And then I think it's the NFL's job, just like the NBA does, they have mandatory classes rookies have to attend to show them how to manage money. And
they teach them everything in the rookie symposium. They teach them how to deal with girls. They tell them look out for strippers, everything. They tell them what to do, and it doesn't sink in.
Yeah, I just think it's an individual by individual basis, and I think that it starts with the college program.
Well, like you said, that coming up, how they're taught, and I think it actually starts even younger. I think in high school, once a high school player knows he's going to go somewhere, that sense of entitlement, his coach is going to be. Especially
you have these big-time coaches coming to your house eating your mom's pie, you know. You have that sense of entitlement, and I see where they get it from. But.
And I won't give specific examples, but I personally know of situations in high school where on basketball teams, you have coaches that bend grades a little bit, get you on here. Maybe fake your address a little bit so you could play in the district. It starts happening that early, and when kids see that, they're impressionable. They're going to go, well, my authoritative figure, my coach, did this. Can't be that bad.
Yeah, and it sucks. It just sucks, and
they don't know when to stop that.
Yeah, and they need someone. Maybe they need to have another position in the programs that can ground these young men, bring them back down to earth, and let them know that the real world is not going to treat you like this. Like the average NFL player, when you retire, you're going to be broke. That's right. Yeah. That's a slap in the face, maybe a brick to the face.
3 years.
Look at Terrell Owens. He made $90 million and he's broke.
Which is sad, so sad. And did you hear about what he's paying child support to 4 women?
Yeah.
But his examples were like, a couple of them were one-night stands, and others were bad decisions. And he's paying like $40,000 a month for a one-night stand.
That's what they were there for. That's all they wanted.
Terrell, man, a hitman is way cheaper than paying them.
Okay, so let's get into our MCR Sports Local Edition. We're going to touch on the Raiders first. They made another move towards their offensive coordinator. Now, Dennis Allen said a couple of things when in the press conference that kind of made me worry a little bit. But I can understand where he's coming from because there's other coaches who do this as well. He said he doesn't think you can be a successful coach in this league while calling offensive or defensive plays.
Really?
He said he's mostly going to be a game manager and prepare and give them the program. He said he's also, or give them the game plan, I should say, not the program. He said he will override any calls that go in that he thinks are ridiculous. Of course he's going to say something. But I think of like Tom Coughlin. He does that. A lot of good coaches do that.
See, I don't necessarily agree with that, and I think Harbaugh does the same thing. But me personally, I don't agree with that. I think a head coach has to take the reins on one side or the other, either defensive or offensive, because at the same time, most head coaches are previous defensive or offensive coordinators.
Exactly.
So they know how to do the job.
Exactly.
And if you, like they say, good companies, you delegate to good people. But in this instance, I think you almost handicap yourself, because if you rely too much on your offensive coordinators and your success comes from them, they bolt. They get good jobs.
Yeah.
Where you're stuck.
Yeah, and that's, that means you run a successful program or a successful organization or successful people around you when that happens. That's essentially what happened to Dennis Allen in Denver. He was so good on the defensive end that, it was his time. People were saying that he waited just because of how much he loved the area before he became a head coach.
Tebow got him the job.
Oh, no way.
Hey, he's defensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, defensive coordinator. Okay,
the same defensive coordinator that was coordinator for a 1-14 before Tebow took over.
Well, he was he jumped to defensive coordinator this year.
Yeah, but he was still the coordinator when they were 1-4. That's all I'm saying.
He wasn't the defensive coordinator.
It helps when you got a Tebow. It makes you, and he inspires your defense, makes your job a little easier.
What he did turn a team that had a terrible defense the year before that into a better than average defense this year. That's what he did.
5 games into the season, when ironically Tebow took over. So who really made that
defense? They were still playing. They were still losing. They were losing games, but they were losing still by they weren't allowing points. Go ahead and look that up while I talk about Knapp a little bit. Yeah. So Knapp is back with the Raiders. You guys remember Knapp in the horrible era of Jamarcus Russell. But I think they brought him back to have some familiarity with the players. Maybe some of the receivers are still there, even though we brought in some other players, some other rookies like Moore and things of that sort. But the base players are still there, and I think to bring someone in who's familiar with the situation, that's what the Raiders wanted to do, because they didn't want to throw away any season. They're not in a rebuilding stage. Allen said that there's enough talent on this team to make a run for a championship.
Just to backtrack a little bit here, I got pulled up the season schedule here for the Broncos in the first 5 games. Week 1, a loss, 23-20 to the Raiders. Week number 2, a win, 24-22. Week 3, lost 17-14, so they only gave up 17 points. Week 4, they lost 49-23, and week 5 they lost 29-24. So they're still giving up average pretty much over 20 points.
So they were learning a new system, right? So they're learning a new defensive system. So let's keep going.
Okay, so now, So Tebow comes in against the Dolphins. They win 18-15.
Okay.
They lose the next game 45-10, an anomaly. They win against the Raiders 38-24. And then come week 10, they win against the Chiefs. They give up 10 points. They give up 13 against the Jets the following week, 13 against the Chargers the following week.
And then the Brady killing.
32, yeah.
Yeah.
So it fluctuates up and down. But still, I don't know if I can give Dennis Allen that much credit.
Well, here's the thing. The Raiders' defense was the scheme was absolutely terrible. To let the middle of the field be as open as it was, absolutely terrible. To run cover 2 as much as they did, absolutely terrible. And for them not to make a change to try to save the season, because everyone knew it. Everyone knew coming into the game that they're terrible at middle coverage. And, they didn't change anything about it. And I think coming up with a different scheme with these linebackers that the Raiders have, like Curry, he's an excellent linebacker. And you have, even though you don't think McClain is any good, I think he's actually
Why would I think Curry's any good? He was garbage in Seattle. Why would I think
he was awesome in Seattle?
No, he wasn't. They wouldn't have traded him if he was good.
They traded him because of what the Raiders gave up to.
No, he played terribly. Now I'll admit he played better with the Raiders.
Now what the Raiders use him for his speed to when they blitz to get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
But I think with that good core, they can do something. Of course, they have to add pieces in the secondary. Even Allen hinted at that. He talked about his defensive line and the linebackers. And then when he got to the cornerbacks, he said, "Yeah, we're going to have to look for key players."
I bet they revamp the whole linebacker position on the Raiders.
I think they'll add maybe a piece, but I think before they even touch the linebackers, they need to look at the cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And right now, if you guys are watching our simulcast on Justin TV, it is 17-27. The G-Men are up with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
And Deion Branch just dropped one in the end zone.
Yeah, he did. So I think the Raiders are heading in the right direction. Is Knapp gonna? Well, Knapp, he's with the Texans, right? So he took the Texans
right
to the almost to the championship game. So with a third string quarterback, so he knows what he's doing when he has the right piece. He shows that he knows what he can do when he has the right pieces around him.
And Knapp was the quarterback coach for the Texans.
I think he was a coordinator for them.
No, I think he was the quarterback.
I'll check. What's your point, though? Keep going.
So he's, and I keep hearing good things about Knapp too. That quarterbacks swear by him, blah blah blah. If quarterbacks swear by you, how does? Because he was around for the Jamarcus Russell.
Now you have Jamarcus Russell as your quarterback, dude.
Hey,
that's
you turn him around. If quarterbacks swear by this guy, what happened there?
How can you turn down a 330-pound or turn around a 330-pound quarterback?
How can you not? I mean, the talent was there.
If he couldn't
motivate him, then I don't see how. Because to me, that's what a good coach is. They all know pretty much the same schemes and everything. It's who can motivate the best.
No. It's you have a player with his type of mentality that, look, this is a player who had ample chances to do right, where they said, okay, instead of going here, we need you to put extra time into getting better. They gave him the opportunity. They can't tell him to get here. They have a mandatory practice time which you cannot go over. So they said, okay, look, you can voluntarily come here so you can work on your game. He didn't go to not one of them. You know, and they said, okay, well, the team is going here to put some extra time in. He was in Vegas in a buffet line.
Well, you know, so if you're a coach, you get that point across.
They tried. You can't do anything to a player who doesn't want to get better. I mean, Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf, you know, all these players who fell victim to the moment and didn't want to improve, and they said it themselves, they didn't want to improve. Ryan Leaf said, you know, I'd rather have played golf than be in a football field.
He's got plenty of time for that.
So now, you know, you can't help players like that. You can't.
Well, they are shoring up their coaching positions, though. They are filling them up quickly.
So, and everybody was looking for that big splash name. And to be quite honest with you, coaches that have won Super Bowls are limited right now. I mean, the two of them are in the Super Bowl now. That's won previous Super Bowls, and you have Mike Shanahan, who hasn't won since pigs were flying,
and he doesn't want to come to L.A. Oakland. Sorry.
Oh no, I don't want Shanahan coaching the Raiders. He's lost touch. I mean, the list is very short. I mean, there's only about 5 or 6 that are still coaching right now that's won the Super Bowl or has made it to the Super Bowl even. So now let's hit on your 49ers. The only thing so far is that they're getting a new stadium.
Yep.
They don't
funding, got a new owner.
Now, do they know when? Is there a date?
Oh, the date is supposed to be 2015.
2015.
But the city now is voting to stop the building or stop the second vote on the on building it. So the city's part of the city, part of the residents are opposed to it. But funding wise, the 49ers are good there. They've pretty much secured the $1 billion they need. They got the $850 million loan.
No tax money, right?
No tax money. The city's really not putting in anything. It's NFL money, and it's a loan that they got.
So why is the city fighting it? Do they know that having an NFL, when you have an NFL city, that means revenue increases for all these stores that are around it, the mom and pop stores? Because in San Jose, I think there's some kind of regulation where you can only have a certain amount of franchises, because all you see are mom and pop places around. So I don't understand why they will vote it down.
Maybe it's the construction, because it's 3 years. So if the world doesn't end this year, you got 3 years of traffic. It's going to be hell until it's actually built, and then on game days you're going to have traffic on Sundays. Maybe residents don't want that, noise pollution, whatever. I would be all for it if that was in my area, and they get a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they have to look at the big picture. They have to look at how much money this is going to bring into the city. How much more tourists it's going to bring into the city. Not alone for 8 weeks out of the year, you're going to have 52 players come in there, along with the media. Oh, Wells Wecker just broke one here. So the media is going to come in there. When an NFL team comes into town, a lot of money is made around that stadium. So I'm not sure quite.
Yeah, good. Lucky for us, the city officials, see the big picture.
Yeah, they see all that money.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I'm pretty sure there's some under the table money.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's going to be made.
All right, so I'm all for it, and I'm all for the Niners getting a Super Bowl. Is it Cisco who's backing it? What stadium is it going to be?
What? Oh shoot. Why did I just have it? I want to say. Well, I know Zynga, the gaming.
Yeah.
They have some. I think they actually just bought part ownership in the Niners.
Like
1%, not
okay.
major.
Yeah. So they should get a Super Bowl, especially if they do it as nice as the mock-up version was that they released to the public. Then of course, what better city than the Bay Area than host a Super Bowl.
I really want a dome, though. I really wish they would build a dome.
There's no reason to have a dome in California. You got to enjoy the weather here.
But we're lucky right now. It's like, okay, if the Super Bowl was happening this week, it's looking like
70 degrees, bright sun, not a cloud in the sky.
But usually, this is when we have our rainy, crappy wedding. We just had, the rain freaking at the Niner game. It's kind of a crapshoot. You can end up on a Super Bowl weekend where you have some storms. And would you really want to see a Super Bowl in rainy? Would you want weather to affect the Super Bowl?
To tell you the truth, if that 49er Giants game was the Super Bowl, I would have been happy with it.
Well, it was No, hell no.
I would.
Hell no. If
I'm saying that's how good of a game it was.
Because of weather cost the Super Bowl, I'd be pissed.
Well, we're gonna get that. I mean, the Super Bowl next year is gonna be in New York, so you think it's gonna be sunny?
That's gonna be terrible.
So I mean,
is it really? God,
yeah.
terrible.
So it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be probably raining. Hell, it might even be snowing now. Does it snow in Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can't be any worse than that.
Yeah.
So it's getting pretty late here. The Super Bowl game is winding down. Giants have the ball with 1 minute and 30 left, and they're up by 3. So I think they're just going to give it to Bradshaw and run the clock out. But they have 2 timeouts, the Patriots do. So let's get into our 4th segment here, the buy or sell. Now, I love this segment. So the never-aging Spurs, who just always seems to pull wins out their butt. I don't know how they do it.
Coaching.
Do you buy that never-aging Spurs?
I buy them for the regular season. I don't expect them to go on a deep playoff run.
Okay. I'll buy them for the regular season as well. If we're talking overall, I probably would sell because I don't see them making a run either.
I say maybe a high seed, but
yeah. All right, buy or sell LeBron James this year. He's shooting over 50%.
I mean, he's always put. I buy that 46 minutes out of the game. He's awesome. Come clutch time, he's garbage. I wouldn't want. I mean, statistically, he's almost averaging triple double, almost 30 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
Wow.
But I mean, he's great. He's always statistically fabulous. But clutch time, or would I pick between him and Kobe? I still take Kobe.
Well,
D Wade. I'll take D Wade over LeBron.
I agree with you. This is why I'll never buy into LeBron James until he shows that he could come through in the clutch. He has all these numbers, which proves that he is a front runner. Whatever it is, we're talking, maybe it's entitlement his whole life, whatever it is, when it comes to crunch time, this guy clamps up more than anyone I've seen, to a point where he can't hit a game-winning free throw. When it was that Bulls and Heat game, Derrick Rose couldn't hit a free throw, LeBron James couldn't hit a free throw. I don't know what was going on.
It was terrible. But see, but I'll give Derrick Rose a pass on that, because up until that point, he had made all his fourth quarter free throws for the season.
Yeah.
LeBron, you can't say the same.
Yeah. So I can't buy a person if they're not in the clutch. And to me, a great player equals clutch player. Even Chris Paul is a clutch player.
Oh, definitely.
He's going to hit the big 3 in your face, or he's going to cross you up. I mean, he's the big time player. I can keep going on. Dwayne Wade proved it the year that they won the championship. So hey, no, I'm not going to buy it.
No, sell it.
Mike Brown as a coach, or just Mike Brown. Mike Brown. Do you buy him or sell Mike Brown?
Buy him defensively, offensively, sell it. I altogether, no, I'm still selling. I don't buy him as a coach. He's a stopgap right now. He's the man until we find the man.
I don't think it's his fault. I mean, he's not out there shooting 30% from 3. I think he's an excellent coach, and I think that Kobe is helping him by buying into the system so much. Kobe's not a guy that complain anyway. Early in his career, he did. When Kurt Rambis took over for half that season, there were reports that Kurt Rambis said go in the game, and Kobe told him no, and he asked him why. He said because I don't want to, or because I don't feel like it. But now the older Kobe, the age Kobe, the more wiser Kobe, buying into it, I think it helps Mike Brown, but I don't think it's his fault that they're shooting so bad.
But I think Kobe's going to like that. Of course he's going to buy him, because he gets free reign to do whatever he wants now.
Yeah.
He could jack it up 40 times. Mike Brown's not going to say anything.
Why would they punt it with time on the clock?
They had to.
Oh, and that's the ball game. And the New York Giants win the Super Bowl.
27-24.
Yeah.
Put your money down, people.
I said 28-24. I was pretty damn close.
Yeah.
So we're going to check the stats here at the end of the game. If you guys are watching us on Justin TV or on Twitch TV, you'll see the celebration. We'll get to see who the MVP is. So your final thoughts or takeaways from today, moving forward?
I want to speak on the part that we talked about, the off-field, off-court issues.
Okay.
What bugs me the most about that is that little kids see that and think it's okay.
Yeah.
We, as athletes, at least when I was growing up, it was almost like to be an athlete, you had to be a gentleman. sportsmanship. Showboating was frowned upon. You got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's complete opposite. It's encouraged. It's demanded. It's like, you're talented. You do it. You get out there. You get your shine, and worry about the team second. And I think if that's where we're going, sports are just going to get worse as whole, because there's not the teams when they do play. It's going to be more individuals, and the stories off the field, they're just going to get worse and worse with like the Ben Roethlisbergers, the Alden Smiths, the DUIs. Like, it's just going to keep getting worse. And hopefully, people at a younger age, especially parents, regardless of what coaches do, show their children that that's not something you should do. That teach their kids right, because I've always been one that I don't care what if your parents tell you to do something, you do it. That's who should have the most influence on you. Not a coach, not a teacher, not a boss, anybody. It should be your parents.
And I agree with your statement 100%. My takeaway from everything, or from today, is that the Giants are going to win the damn Super Bowl. I don't see a way, unless Gronk is 100% somehow. Like I said, he takes drugs, and he went to Germany and got the got the same treatment as Kobe. Oh, you never seen this before?
No, I've never seen it. They got Obama.
Yeah, Obama's giving them the jerseys for winning the Super Bowl. So I don't see a way that they could win. I definitely don't. If they put pressure on Brady with 4 dropping 7, you can't dominate the passing game that way. There's no way. These corners can tackle better than anyone besides the 49ers. I don't see them. And also, the Giants have been tested. They've been tested 2 games before they hit the playoffs, all throughout the playoffs with good teams. And you look on the other side, Patriots haven't been tested at all, and they faced a Flacco Baltimore offense, which is mediocre at best passing, and they still threw the